Making My Way by Dragoness Bahamut. I rebuilt the laboratory. I borrowed 3 Pokemon and a Nurse Joy from the closest Pokemon Center in Old Shore Wharf. It was an easy task to raise the 3 Pokemon into their evolved forms, Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise. What was more difficult was to recreate the 3 to be more powerful than naturally possible. I combined the use of techniques that had been recorded by my creators and Nurse Joy's general knowledge of Pokemon. I created a psychic link between her and myself to make the job go smoothly. I succeeded in cloning the Pokemon and released the originals into the wild, erasing their memory of their time here. All that was left was some way to prove that I had truly succeeded, that I indeed created Pokemon faster, stronger, and smarter than their originals. Pokemon trainers. They seek to become Pokemon masters. What better way for me to test my clone's power than in a battle with none but the best? I had many more clones set out as surveillance. I sought out only the best of the best, trainers that came out on top despite seemingly impossible odds. I was nearing the end of my search. The fairy would leave at the end of the day, but for some reason, I felt I still hadn't invited all that I should. "Pokemon trainer found," Joy informed me. I gave her a nod, and my windows were quickly filled with images of a boy. His Bulbasaur destroyed a Donphan with an impressive solar beam attack. His opponent recalled the Donphan and set out a Machamp. The boy's next Pokemon was a Squirtle. After seeming to be at a disadvantage, it knocked out the Machamp with a single bubble attack. This enraged the older human, and he sent out 3 Pokemon at once, Pinsir, Venomoth, and Golem. The boy's Pikachu ran up and used a Thunderbolt attack. Each of the Pokemon ended up worse for wear. Very impressive. This boy must come. "Master, shall I extend an invitation to these trainers as well?" Joy asked me. I nodded. "As you wish." "Ash?" came Pikachu's voice. I felt like I was being boiled in a soup pot, but I couldn't stop shaking. I was freezing. "Ash?" came Pikachu's voice. "Pikachu?" I couldn't understand what was going on. The dreams and the realities. I couldn't tell which was which, and I didn't know which one I preferred. Is this the real me? Or is that one? Or am I 2 different people? "Can you hear me?" said Pikachu. "Yes, I can hear you." I uttered a soft sound in reply. I think it was Mew. Mew. Mew was the name of the creature that saved Ash. Mew was what I had said to Pikachu. Wasn't that the same Pikachu that belonged to Ash? Didn't it call me Ash? I'm Ash? But why would I say Mew? Or am I Mewtwo? I can't tell. I don't know much of what happened next. It all passed by me in a blur. The 3 of them, the 3 of me, were all together at the same time. I lost track of which one was me. If I wasn't all 3 of them at the same time, and I think I was. Something happened at the end. It was so hard to try to understand. It was as if part of me had gone blank. "Ash, wake up!" "Please wake up, Ash." "Ash, that's me," I moaned, sitting up. If this is my reality, then let me sleep again. I couldn't see straight, and even listening and thinking was difficult. I never gave actually physically moving a thought. "Are you okay?" said Pikachu. "No." "That's expected. But you've already managed to stay awake longer than even compared to the last 2 days. 2 days? Does this mean it was all a dream? That can't be true. It couldn't have been a dream. It was real. It had to be. I was really living as someone else." "Not just a dream," Nikiro answered. "Something more." "Something more?" "Yeah." I closed my eyes. Just that small conversation had been so draining. "Rest now, Ashura. You need it. May your sleep be dreamless." "Thanks, I think. Good night." "So that's it? You're just gonna leave it at that?" I looked up to see me. What do you want? Weren't you the same me from the fog? And why are there so many of me? Doesn't it mean anything? Mew? Ash. My name is Ash. He shrugged. "If you insist. I always thought it was my name, but I think it's yours, too." "What do you want?" I repeated. "I just want to know what you think of it all. Did it seem real to you? Because it sure did seem real to me." "Did what seem real?" "You know what I'm talking about! The dream! But you know as well as I do that it wasn't just a dream. Nekiro knows it too, and I know you're gonna believe him. I know it wasn't just a dream. I didn't need you to tell me that. So what does it mean then, Mew? Tell me that. It means... Don't you get it? Remember the story of the Dark Mew? What about it? When humans have forgotten about us and their connection to Pokemon, they warned us of a time of great conflict between good and evil. From the midst of the evil will come a Mew more powerful than any other Pokemon, and even Mew in existence. With nothing but hatred in its heart, it will create a storm unlike any other. This storm will destroy the world, leaving nothing to be mercied by this unfeeling being. We call this Mew the Dark Mew, the last Mew to come into existence. What are you trying to say? You know as well as I do. Then you don't know much, do you? He sighed and looked off at nothing. I wish it was still that way, he whispered. I awoke to feel a cool liquid running down my throat. For once, I didn't even care about the taste. Are you feeling better, Ash? Mom's soft voice asked. Yeah, a little. I opened my eyes, and I actually could see clearly. At the foot of the bed, Persian was sleeping with his head tucked behind his tail and resting over his front paws. Mom was next to me, holding my head up so I could drink. Pikachu sat next to me. Behind Mom, Nekiro hovered, glancing all about him as if he had something very important on his mind. I'm so glad you're okay, Mom whispered, stroking my fur absent-mindedly. I'm glad too, said Pikachu. Thanks, I said, not really paying attention to them or me. Thanks. I was still confused by my dreams. What does it all mean? Clouds filled the sky, darkening the land. It had been night anyway, but now dark purple rays of light were peeking over the barren horizon. It threatened to engulf the blissful darkness and filled it with burning light. The coolness of night would be replaced with unforgiving heat. Bare backs would be unprotected from the fire of the sun. I looked down. I was protected. I sat in the shade. Below me were the creatures that had given their lives to me. They were mine. I owned them. There were rows of them, their backs bent and twisted, their eyes lowered. None of them dared look upon me. To do so would mean death. They were nothing but slaves. Only the most fortunate could even dare to come near me. There was a scuffling of bare feet. I didn't need to look to know who it was. Is everything going according to plan? I asked simply. Yes, sir, said the meek, feminine voice. She sounded so different than she usually did. She was no longer the haughty redhead who didn't think twice about using her fist to get her point across. Then again, I had changed too. Good. I gave her a sidelong glance. I caught her off guard, enough to see her eyes widen and her head duck quickly down, as if it had been there the whole time. How are the troops? Still training, she said, her voice nothing but the barest whisper. They'll be ready, though, she finished, raising her voice bravely and even daring to peek at me through her bangs. I gave her the smallest smile, but not in humor. You've always been the strong one. She hung her head quickly, hoping she hadn't offended me in her boldness. I dismissed that thought with a wave of my paw. I'll let you off this time, but you should be more careful. I could have had your head for that. I know that. I thought about that response. She knows. Of course she knows. Everybody knows. But she went ahead anyway. Very well then. If death is not the ultimate punishment for you, then I'll make sure you're given something worse. Far worse. Much like I have had to go through, I added silently to myself. Neither of us spoke for a time, and I began to fear that I hadn't said the last part to myself. I'll remember that, sir, she whispered. I waved her off. I'd had enough of this conversation. Go rally the lower officers. Tell them I want more slaves working on the border. Send out the overseers. Make sure the job gets done. I want no slackers. She simply nodded, then scurried away with her new errand. Yes, the world will soon be mine. I greeted the rising of the sun with defiance, ignoring its blood-red glare. Nothing could hold me back. Ash, are you okay? Nekiro asked me. I could feel the urgency in his voice. No, I'm not okay, I answered, shaking from my new nightmare. It was a bad one, wasn't it? Yes. He paused, reluctant to tell me what he wanted to say next. Ashura, I have to tell you something. I don't know if I want to hear it. Ashura, it's important. Those dreams you're having, they're not normal dreams. No? I asked, wishing that he would be wrong. No, They're much more. There's no real human word for it, but we call them seeings. Muse? Yes, seeings are glimpses into the past, the future, the present, and the possible in general. What has been, what will be, what might have been, but it's impossible to tell until the dream becomes a reality. I felt my throat tighten. Until the dream becomes a reality, not if, when. Does that mean it's all real? Nikiro didn't say anything for a long time. In one reality or another, yes,